Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Today, I want to have sort of a little talk with service providers and anyone else, family members, kids, parents. What I really want to discuss today is, well, you are a diabetic. Like, we had any choice in the matter, that we can't do things. And I know there's been stories for years of people wanting to go out and do something like, I don't know, mountain climbing or whatever. It was all sort of, well, no, you can't do that because you are a diabetic. Which really doesn't explain a hell of a lot. Why? Why can't I do it because I am a diabetic? Just coming out and saying that statement doesn't tell me a whole lot. When I got on to my home care provider, my nurse, whatever you want to call her, case manager, just one sec here, sorry. Had to get something done on the computer. Just kept using this phrase. Now, we don't want you to get your toenails cut by any of our staff. And because you are a diabetic, it's kind of like, hell, I didn't know. No one told me that I was a diabetic. So tell us more why than, oh, yes, you are. It's like totally, well, oh, yes, I'll get that fixed tomorrow. No, it's something I can't fix. So saying, oh, no, you can't do that. I think where having diabetes really isn't a disease as much as you think it is. I had a doctor years ago, an endocrinologist, Dr. John Hunt, who always said it's not a disease, it's an imbalance. And exactly what it is, you have too much sugar in your blood and you need insulin. That's all it says. You need to be in balance. And I've always got accused of cheating on my diabetes. And it never really, that whole thing doesn't seem to wash. Tell the diabetics the actual reasons. Don't sort of sit there and say, oh, well, yes, but you're a diabetic. Well, yeah, okay, fine. But that really doesn't tell me anything. And some people seem to think that diabetics don't know how to really take care of themselves. Now, I'm not talking about the doctors. I'm talking about relatives. It's kind of like, oh, well, you are a diabetic. And I was always sort of would go into the hospital and they would kind of say to me, you know, your blood sugars and that aren't totally in perfect control yet, but we feel you can go home. And the minute I got, well, if you're not perfect, why are they letting you out of the hospital? Well, because the best place for a diabetic is out of the hospital. If you're there for diabetes control, the best place you can be is out of the hospital. Getting back to your regular life, get out there, do something. Now, when I first went to see my last endocrinologist, she told me, well, you know, you really should get out of life and continue your life. You know, other things that really kind of annoy me, that, oh, you're having a piece of pie. Oh, you're a diabetic. You're not allowed that. Well, yes, I am allowed that. And I think a few videos before discussed this. You know, your diet or your food planning or whatever you want to call it, you can have moments where you can have pies or cakes or whatever, or you want a day kind of lackadaisical and you modify your blood sugar. A lot of times I will have, after a low, I will have an ambulance person here saying, well, what's a normal blood sugar? And when I answer, I don't have normal blood sugars, they really kind of just think, well, I'm not doing anything. You know, I'm just not living. So, diabetics do know a lot more than you give us credit for. We're the ones who have to live with this disease. We're the ones who constantly, day to day, whatever comes up, we're sick, whatever, we need to deal with it. Now, there are times when a diabetic needs to be in the hospital, and fine. But, you know, just don't assume that, oh, you know, you're diabetic, you're not doing too well, and we need to take you to emergency. Well, you know, sometimes we do know what's best for us. Now, I'm not talking if we're coming out of a low and, I'm talking day to day. I know what's best for me. Now, for parents, you know, there are times you have to let your children go, and you want to let them go with the best possible reasons, and letting them have the tools. And if they've done the tools and it hasn't worked, fine. But yelling at them because, oh, well, you didn't follow the plan, you really need to, you know, you've got to get better at this, or you're going to lose a leg. It's always sort of like, oh, well, you're going to lose a leg. And you know what? No. If you don't take care of foot injuries or ulcers in the foot, then maybe. But not, oh, well, just because you don't take care of your diabetes, you're going to lose a foot. No kid, no adult wants to hear that all the time. So give your children some advice or give your patient some advice that they'll be able to work with. Don't just sort of like, oh, well, guys, we know better. It's a lot. My diabetes plan is going to be different than yours or your son's or your daughter's. You know why? Because everyone's different. So why does your plans have to, always be the one size fits all approach? You have to be open. Now, I'm lucky. I have a very good team. I have a super endocrinologist. I have a super diabetic nurse. Dietitian. No, I really haven't seen the dietitian in a while. My bad. Pharmacy. I have an outstanding pharmacy that they really keep up and will give me directions on, well, usually they don't give this drug to a diabetic. They don't sort of sit there and say, well, diabetics can't have this drug, and not tell you why. So think before you say, oh, you're just, because you are a diabetic. That teaches us nothing. That doesn't tell us why. Maybe it's just a hope we'll just shut up and go with what they think is always right. Think before you speak. Have a great day.